flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's pray. Father, we love you and we thank you so much for every blessing that you have given us and given our city. We just want to acknowledge that we know that all blessings come from you. We ask for tonight that as we deliberate on these items, that you'll give us wisdom, you'll help us to put the needs of the city where it needs to be, that you'll just give us all wisdom to do what you have called us to do. Thank you for every member who's here, who serves. Would you bless them in their lives? In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
All right, thank you, Brian. I'd like to welcome you to tonight's regular meeting of the Springdale City Council. This is Tuesday, May 25th, 2021. And we'll start with the roll call.
Mayor Sprouse?
Here.
Brian Powell?
Here.
Amelia Williams?
Here.
Jeff Watson?
Here.
Mike Overton?
Here.
Mike Lawson?
Here.
Kevin Flores?
Here.
Randall Harriman?
Here.
Mark Fujarus?
Here.
Ernest Kate?
Here.
All right. We're at item 4, and that is the portion of each meeting that the council sets aside for comments from our citizens. If there's anyone that would like to address the council tonight, please come to the microphone, clearly state your name and address, and please keep your comments brief and understand that the council won't take action tonight on anything that you bring forward. Is there anyone that would like to address the council concerning an item that is not on tonight's agenda?
My name's Ron Minot. I live up on Callahan Mountain, overlooking the Sweetser property, and I'm just kind of concerned that it's been 2.5 years since when it was even in Bethel Heights property. When Bethel Heights got us involved with it, they sent us a letter saying it's going to impact you. We're having a city council meeting. When we got there, the city council of Bethel Heights said, "Oh, you live in Springdale? We don't really care." So now that it's in Springdale, I hope you all care about this, because I've talked to ADEQ and I've talked to our engineering department, and basically it's ADEQ says they haven't done anything in 2.5 years. So my question is, how long do we wait? We were promised, Billy Sweetser told us, this is going to be a place that you're going to be proud of. It will be beautiful. It will have a fence around it. If any of you go by Wagon Wheel, you can see it's a mud pit. I asked Billy, is this going to be a dirt mine? He says, no, we're going to make this look nice. I've talked to the people in the subdivisions around there, and the question they have for me, and I have for you all, is what are we going to do about this? Because it's 2.5 years of red dirt, and a lot of that mud ends up into the creek, and I know they have a retention pond, but what they've done is they park equipment there, and to cut the gullies out, they've dumped construction concrete into those ditch lines, and so they aren't doing anything. Like I say, I've talked to ADEQ and city engineering here, Katie, and she said they're going to leave it with ADEQ, and ADEQ has said they have to reapply for a permit to be able to do anything. So I would appreciate, if you get a chance, I can send you all pictures of what it looks like, or you can drive by and be thinking about this. I know it's not something that's high on priority list, but I live in that neighborhood. The subdivisions that have to deal with that wasn't what we were promised, and it's now in Springdale. So thank you very much.
Let us look into that a little more from our end, Ron, see
All right.
what can be done. Thank you.
Where is that?
That's out Butterfield, or Wagon Wheel and Robbins, right in that area, isn't it?
Where they were going to put in
Is it
storage units.
on the
Just haven't
northwest
completed
corner.
the
east of
project.
Robbins?
It's north of Wagon
West.
Wheel and west of Robbins.
West of Robbins.
And it's 16 acres of land that used to be farmland, and now it's red dirt. I mean,
Yeah.
they scraped it down to the bedrock, and so there's nothing, weeds are growing sort of on it, but it's just sitting there right now.
Yeah, okay, thanks. It's not far off Wagon Wheel. You can see it well from Wagon Wheel. Okay. All right. Anyone else? Council, we're at item 5, the approval of the minutes. If there are no questions or additions, I'd entertain a motion to approve them as presented.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion
Second.
and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Thank you. Item 6, procedural motions. What's your pleasure?
I move for A and B.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for 6A and B. Roll call, please.
Powell,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Watson,
Yes.
Overton.
Yes.
Lawson,
Yes, ma'am.
Flores,
Yes, ma'am.
Harriman,
Yes.
Fugierus.
Yes.
Carries 8-0.
All right, item 7, we've got a couple of reappointments. We're asking you to approve the first one, and I'll go ahead and read it. 7A is a resolution reappointing Jason Janda and Justin Cole to the Advertising and Promotion Commission of the City of Springdale. Resolution passed.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further comments or questions? All right, roll call, please.
Williams.
Yes.
Watson,
Yes.
Overton.
Yes.
Lawson.
Yes, ma'am.
Flores,
Yes, ma'am.
Harriman,
Yes.
Fugierus.
Yes.
Powell.
Yes.
Carries 8-0.
Thank you. I don't see Justin or Jason here tonight, but as always, we pass along our appreciation for their willingness to serve. And item 7B, a resolution approving the reappointment of Peyton Parker to the Springdale Planning Commission.
Move the resolution pass. Second.
Motion is second. Any further comments or questions? Anyone? Okay.
Watson,
Yes.
Overton.
Yes.
Lawson.
Yes, ma'am.
Flores.
Yes, ma'am.
Harriman,
Yes.
Fugierus.
Yes.
Powell.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Carries 8-0.
All right, and thank you also to Peyton. Item 8, Planning Commission report and recommendations by Patsy Christie, Director of Planning and Community Development. Patsy?
Okay, is my clicker not going to work tonight? Ah, there we go. The first item is actually a ordinance that corrects the Scrivener's error. This was rezoning property at 611 East Apple Blossom. It was from C2 to I1. There was a missed call in the legal description itself, so this is replacing that legal description. When we went to put it on the map is when we determined that the call was actually missing. So this is an ordinance amending ordinance number 3307, the same being the zoning ordinance of the City of Springdale, Arkansas, and the plat pertaining thereto, by rezoning certain lands from General Commercial District C2 to Light Industrial District I1 and declaring an emergency.
Move the ordinance be adopted. Actually, the title of the ordinance, can I read the title? It's actually an ordinance amending ordinance number 5586, which rezones certain lands from General
Okay.
Commercial District C2 to Light Industrial District I1 and declaring emergency. Sorry.
I didn't think that was the right title, but I wasn't sure how you decided to do that, so,
That's the way it's on the agenda.
okay.
Still move that the ordinance be adopted.
Second.
And we did get okay,
Second, just in case.
thank you. Any other questions or comments? Anyone in the audience need to speak to this? Okay, Denise?
Overton.
Yes.
Lawson.
Yes, ma'am.
Flores,
Yes, ma'am.
Harriman,
Yes.
Fugierus.
Yes, ma'am.
Powell.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Watson,
Yes.
Move the emergency clause be adopted. Second.
Lawson,
Yes, ma'am.
Flores.
Yes, ma'am.
Harriman,
Yes.
Fugierus.
Yes.
Powell.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Watson,
Yes.
Overton.
Yes. Both the ordinance and emergency clause carry 8-0.
The next item is to rezone 1.7 acres located at 807 Southwest N Street. The request is to rezone it from low, medium density, single-family residential SF2 to neighborhood office district 01. Planning Commission recommends approval of the rezoning request. The title of the ordinance reads an ordinance amending ordinance number 3307, the same being the zoning ordinance of the City of Springdale, Arkansas, and the plat pertaining thereto, by rezoning certain lands from low, medium density, single-family residential district SF2 to neighborhood office district 01 and declaring an emergency. These all have emergency clauses because there are pending projects and other things moving forward. That's why there are an emergency clause included.
Move the ordinance be adopted.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the ordinance. Any other questions or comments? Anyone in the audience? Okay, Denise?
Flores,
Yes, ma'am.
Harriman,
Yes, ma'am.
Fugierus.
Yes.
Powell.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Watson,
Yes.
Overton.
Yes.
Lawson,
Yes, ma'am.
Move the emergency clause be adopted.
Second. Yes.
Fugierus.
Yes.
Howe.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Watson.
Yes.
Overton.
Yes.
Lawson.
Yes, ma'am.
Flores.
Yes, ma'am.
Both the ordinance emergency clause carry 8-0.
The next item is to rezone .39 acres located at 515 Sanders Avenue. The property is being rezoned for a church to go in that location. They're asking for it to be rezoned to P1. The title of the ordinance reads an ordinance amending ordinance number 3307, the same being the zoning ordinance of the city of Springdale, Arkansas, the plat pertaining thereto by rezoning certain lands from neighborhood commercial district C1 to institutional district P1 and declaring an emergency.
Could you explain P1 again?
P1 is for governmental buildings, for churches, for schools, those kind of things. It gives them a little bit different setback requirements as far as that's concerned, but that's the only difference. And because it's not considered commercial, a church is not really considered to be commercial property. When we calculate how much commercial property we have in town, that actually takes those areas out of that. And it also deals with them as far as the noise ordinance is concerned too.
Okay.
Because they have to meet the
Thank you.
noise ordinance requirements. Yeah.
Move the ordinance be adopted.
Second.
So is there enough parking on this property?
Yes, we've already been through that. The fire department's been there and talked to them about what they need to do to make an assembly, and we've already calculated the number of parking spaces based on the size of the structure that they have now.
Based on what?
Based on the size of the structure and the occupancy limit that it would have. When we get a church application, and that's one of the very first things that we look at, is to see if it can meet the parking requirements.
Okay, we do have a motion and a second. Other questions or comments? Anyone? Okay. What,
Is that the old Hefman office, or
Um,
is that the
I think it
former
is.
daycare?
It's the former daycare, I think, isn't
Gotcha,
it?
yeah. Was a laundromat and a daycare one time.
Was there a daycare in there before? It was Hutchins' office and.
most
Hefman-
recently, yeah.
Yeah, but before that used to be
I
a,
think it was dentist office.
Yeah, it was a dentist's office, but
Oh.
it's not the one that's next to it that had the cars parked in next to it, and they've done some work on it. It's the smaller piece in between.
yeah, that's it, that is the old Hefman
Yeah.
office, yeah.
okay. All right, Denise?
Fugierus.
Yes.
Howe.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Watson.
Yes.
Overton.
Yes.
Lawson.
Yes, ma'am.
Flores.
Yes, ma'am.
Harriman.
Yes, ma'am.
Emergency clause be adopted.
Second.
Howe.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Watson.
Yes.
Overton.
Yes.
Lawson. Flores.
Yes, ma'am.
Harriman.
Yes, ma'am.
Fugierus.
Yes.
Both the ordinance emergency clause carry 8-0.
The next request is to rezone 14.05 acres located at 2377 North 56th Street. The request is to rezone this property from Agricultural District A1 to Low Medium Density Single Family Residential District SF2. Planning Commission recommends approval of this rezoning request. The title of the ordinance reads, an ordinance amending ordinance number 3307, the same being the zoning ordinance of the city of Springdale, Arkansas, and the plat pertaining thereto, by rezoning certain lands from Agricultural District A1 to Low Medium Density Single Family Residential District SF2 and declaring an emergency.
I move the ordinance be adopted.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Further comments or questions about this?
We know anything about this subdivision? Have they, anybody proposed anything about a
We
subdivision
have
here?
subdivision preliminary plats on this one that's already been going through the process and being reviewed. Yeah, and then we have another to the west of that, to the east of that's being looked at, and one that's on the other side. We've got 3 subdivisions in that area that's being looked at.
In this general area?
Yes, and there will be a revision to the preliminary plat because they were looking at an access road on the south side that was going to be emergency access only, and we're working through part of that. So the first phase is only going to be the upper portion of the track to move forward. We're trying to get a connection between it and the subdivision to the east of it, so we have cross connection, and so we can do more regional detention type facilities instead of a whole bunch of little bitty detention ponds. So it's in the process of going through getting the preliminary plat worked on.
What was the vote from the planning commission? Do you remember?
I don't think there was anyone opposed to it. I'll have to go back and look. I can't tell you off the top of my head, though. There is concern in this area about access, and the mayor addressed the issue with what's being done with 56th Street, where the bond program didn't make it all that way, but it's going to be overlaid. They will be doing their half of the street, the full width of the property, as the subdivision develops. We've got another one to the north of this that they will do their portion of it. If you go out there now, you'll see some of it's already been done, because with the subdivisions that have been improved, the road has been widened out in sections with the church that was built out there. So it's moving forward in pieces. But that's a lot of traffic, and those issues were addressed, and the mayor did address them at the planning commission meeting.
Let me just, since you mentioned that, in case the council doesn't know, I think I've mentioned it, but we received a state aid street grant for the overlay from Bob, on 56th Street, from Bob Mills north all the way to Wagon Wheel Road. So that'll all be overlaid with new asphalt, and then also from 56th on County Line West to where the Elm Springs city limit starts. So that's pretty good project for us, and we're appreciative of that grant. So.
And it does get the portions that, as they're being developed, widen out in those sections. Just doesn't get the entire piece done.
And if, time will tell after we get more projects bid, whether we'll be able to, I hope that if we have the money, I hope the council will consider looking at going ahead and doing that short section of Gene George from Elm Springs Road to Bob Mills also. But we'll have to see if we've got the funds left in the bond program for that.
So Patsy, just looking ahead to the next item on the agenda, it's SF1. What's the difference between SF1 and SF2?
An SF2 is what you see most everywhere. It's a 70-foot lot with 8,000 square foot. An SF1 is a bigger lot than that, and it's 4. It can be no more than 4, but it's a little bit wider lot, larger size. I can look up the exact size. I don't have my.
Yeah, you
iPad
hardly
with
ever
me.
see SF1. So when we get on the next
Yeah.
item, I'm going to ask you why.
And this
someone
one is just
would
a
ask for
1
that.
acre lot, and they're doing that so they can split off that 1 acre and build a single-family house on it. Because in an A1 zone, the minimum lot is 200 foot of frontage and 2 acres. So to rezone it to something they can build a single house, that's why they're going to SF1.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that brings up a question for me let's just, as an example, that new housing addition that's currently being built west of Harbor High School, those are larger lots.
Right.
Are those 1 or 2?
I think those are actually RE because they're acre lots, because they had to be
Yeah.
on septic
Okay.
tanks.
Okay, I got you.
And so an RE is a requirement of a
So they have to have 1 acre
Right.
lots.
They are
for
1
septic.
acre lot. So this is between an RE and an SF2.
Gotcha.
And
Yeah, SF1 is minimum 10,000 square feet and 80 feet on a public street.
right. So it's the next bigger lot after the SF2.
Patsy, since you mentioned it, what's the rationale for a 200-foot wide lot? Said if you're going
The
to,
A1 zone has always had, since I've been here, 200 foot of frontage and 2 acres. I can't explain to you any more than that's the way it's always been.
A1, but if they're going for a different zoning, you still have to, I'm confused. Why would it have to be 200 feet if they're going for SF2 or SF1?
It doesn't. If you go from the A1 to be split or to build a second structure on an A1 zone, for each structure, it has to be as if it's on its own lot. So each structure would have to have 200 foot of frontage and 2 acres in an A1 zone. If you don't have that much, then you have to rezone it down to something else that gives you less frontage on a public street and less acreage to split that and be able to put 2 structures on one piece of property.
So it's 200 if you want to stay agricultural, but if
Right.
you want to be smaller than that, you have to rezone it.
And that's one structure on 2 acres with 200 foot of frontage. If you want to put the second structure on there, then you've got to have 400 foot of frontage and 4 acres, because each structure has to meet the minimum lot requirements for the zoning classification it's in. That's why we see it getting rezoned to A1, because then it's only, to SF1, it's only 80 feet and 10,000 square feet. That leaves the other one.
So if you had had a A1 zoning, you could, and wanted to rezone it to SF1 or SF2, you would not have to have 200 feet of frontage.
SF1, you have to have 80 foot, SF2, you have to have 70 foot.
Okay.
10,000 and 7,000, that's the minimum lot size. Now, the only thing that changes that is if you are on a septic system, you have to have a lot big enough to contain that septic system.
Gotcha.
And
Yeah.
that's where we get into the RE sometimes. Most of the time, it's a 1 acre minimum, and we just recommend that you go to an RE so that you meet that septic system
Gotcha.
requirement.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Do we have a motion, don't we? All right.
Williams,
Yes.
Watson,
Yes.
Overton,
Yes.
Lawson, Flores,
Yes, ma'am.
Harriman,
Yes.
Fugierus.
Yes.
Powell,
Yes. The merger clause be adopted.
Second.
Watson,
Yes.
Overton.
Yes.
Lawson,
Yes, ma'am.
Flores,
Yes, ma'am.
Harriman.
Yes.
Fugierus.
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Both the ordinance and emergency clause carry 8-0.
And as we just talked about, the next one is a request to rezone 1 acre located on north of Cary Smith Road on the west side of Grimsley Road. It's a bigger tract. They want to split off and put another house on there. They can do it on an acre with the septic system. It leaves them enough frontage, enough acreage for the remainder to be A1. So that's what this one is being done. Title of the ordinance reads an ordinance amending ordinance number 3307, the same being the zoning ordinance of the city of Springdale, Arkansas, and the plat pertaining thereto by rezoning certain lands from agricultural district A1 to low-density, single-family residential district SF1 and declaring an emergency.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the ordinance. Any other questions or comments? Anyone in the room? Okay, Denise?
Overton,
Yes.
Lawson,
Yes, ma'am.
Flores,
Yes, ma'am.
Harriman.
Yes.
Fugierus.
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Watson,
Yes.
Merger clause be adopted.
Second.
Lawson,
Yes, ma'am.
Flores,
Yes, ma'am.
Harriman.
Yes.
Fugierus.
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Watson,
Yes.
Overton.
Yes. Both the ordinance and emergency clause carry 8-0.
The next item is a request for a conditional use for a use unit 42, which is a church or synagogue in a C2 zone located at 901 Dorman Street. We've worked with this group quite a bit trying to come up with enough parking for it. They only have 12 parking spaces on site. They needed 36. They got a shared parking agreement with the bank down the street to be able to use their parking lot to provide that additional off-street parking that they need for the site itself. They have agreed that they will only meet on Sundays. They will not meet any other time during the week because there was somewhat of a conflict of those off-site parking. There is some at Angus Jack's, but they're open at the same time as the church, so we didn't count those. The bank is closed on Sundays, so that gives us the possibility. They were granted a variance to have that far away, and the access to it, there's not a sidewalk down through there, but the planning commission approved that variance to allow that to happen for this church. And they have been through with the fire and building inspection and know what modifications have to be done to that building to meet the requirements for an assembly, because that's not what the structure was before. So the title of the resolution reads a resolution approving a conditional use at 901 Dorman Street. It is for a use unit 42, which is a church and synagogue in a general commercial district, and it's granted to this one organization and can't be transferred to anybody else. They would have to come back if it's a different church that goes in there.
I may have missed it on the parking when you were telling where all they had looked at.
They looked at
The
Angus
900?
Jack's, they looked at the commercial next door to it and couldn't get a signed parking agreement from them, so they got it from First Security, which is the bank to the
Is
east.
that the old medical supply? That was a medical supply for a while?
Yeah, it was a medical.
Yeah, it was an engineering firm too.
Yeah, I think last time,
Yeah,
the
engineering.
last use was an engineering firm.
We're talking about for security across from Harps, or is there a closer one to it?
It's that 2,500 building right there.
That's kind of a long way away for parking, isn't it?
That's kind of what I thought too, but.
Well, how do we agree to it then?
Well, Planning Commission granted them the variance to allow, it's just a little bit over 300 feet. I mean, it's really, really close. And that street is not a major, I mean, it's a low-volume local street. It's going to only be on Sundays, and so they felt like to help the church get into that location, that off-site parking agreement would work.
So also, do we look at, so this is what are we doing here? Rezoning or?
No, it's a conditional use for
Conditional
a.
use, yeah.
Yeah.
So do we look at, you remember we had a problem over there off of Janet or somewhere real
With sound?
close with noise from a church? Yeah, with noise from a church. And this is right across the street from three houses. I don't know that they are gonna be playing music, but do we look at the sound?
They were told that they have to be in compliance with the noise ordinance. That goes with all of those that come through. That's just part of the condition. And they're only meeting on Sundays.
How did we just, I don't know that it really matters, but it kind of does. How did we deal with that? How did that all end up, that one on, that Jeff's talking about?
USA Plaza is what it was, I think,
I
wasn't
think the
it?
church actually moved out. It's not there anymore.
But we didn't revoke anything.
I
know there was
know that Code spent a lot of time with them on that, and I can't tell you that we did or didn't, but I
Okay.
do know that we haven't heard about the problem in a long time. I
But
don't
we
think the
have
church
that
is still there.
option.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, yes.
if we'll exercise it, yeah.
There is a provision if there is complaints that we can rehear it and the conditional use can be revoked.
So was there any opposition?
No,
None?
no.
None from the citizens in that area, didn't hear anything. Move the resolution pass.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the resolution. Any other comments or questions? Anybody in the room? Okay, Denise?
Flores,
Yes, ma'am.
Harriman,
Yes.
Fugierus.
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Williams. Yes. Watson,
Yes.
Overton,
Yes.
Lawson,
Yes, ma'am.
Carries 8-0.
The next item is a conditional use for a tandem lot split at 5392 Arkansas Highway 112. They are creating a small lot on that, and the access drive is already paved. Planning Commission reviews this. The conditions are the lot split itself has to be completed and filed, but the title of the resolution reads, a resolution approving a conditional use at 5392 Arkansas Highway 112 is set forth in ordinance number 4030 for a tandem lot split.
Move the resolution pass.
So across the street is not Springdale, or is it?
Yes, it's in
Yes, it
Springdale.
is.
It's in Springdale.
There's some property to the north
Yeah,
that's between, that's actually islands that we need to,
yeah.
Right. Yeah, right across, that housing addition right across the street, Kevin, is that Spring Hill.
And then
Subdivision.
the corn
Kinda
maze
up
that's
on a
up in
hill.
there is in
Yeah.
the city limits too, so, yeah.
So this is
See,
just
all
north
that's
of
that colored is in the
612.
city limits. There's that one little pocket right there that's not in Springdale, as Ernest said.
Do we need a second on that, or did somebody? Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other questions or comments? This is the city of Springdale, but it's the Bentonville School District.
Okay.
All right.
I knew something was off.
Anyone in the room? Okay, Denise.
Harriman,
Yes.
Fugierus.
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Williams. Yes. Watson,
Yes.
Overton.
Yes.
Lawson, Flores,
Yes, ma'am.
carries 8-0.
The next item is a conditional use request for a use unit 35, which is transportation services in a C5 district. This location provides transport services for medical and all of that, and they're parking their equipment at this location. And this is a request to allow them to operate it as a transportation services. The only condition is that the entire track parking where all the vehicles are being parked has to be paved. Right now, they paved an area in the front to meet the office requirements, but they're parking vehicles in the back, and they have to pave that area before they could do that. The Planning Commission recommends approval of this conditional use as a resolution approving a conditional use at 324 North 48th Street as set forth in ordinance number 4030. We have been told that they would bring forth a large scale in the next couple of years for the use of the rest of the property too.
So they're not going to be parking anything there until it's paved?
They're not supposed to be parking anything there until it's paved.
And if they do?
Well, we'll send code out there. They could possibly provide a bill of assurance that they would do it within a certain amount of time and give them some time to do it. I know it's been really wet. Hard to get pavement done when it's rained so much. So, you know, we may have to work through some of that kind of stuff or let them bond for it. But they've put some gravel back down there, so it's not in the grass completely. But the condition of the conditional use is that those areas have to be paved.
We did have, I remember one neighbor at the Planning Commission, and she actually complimented them on what they'd done so far.
'Cause you
But
can-
I'm sure she'll be watching it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is gravel back there where they're parking it, but we're saying that has to be paved any place that they're parking those vehicles. They did pave the drive that comes in off of 48th Street and around to the south side of the building so they could provide parking in the back for the office space, and that was done before they moved into the structure itself, so.
Did they inquire about a bill of assurance?
To be quite honest, I don't know that for sure because I think they intended to, but the weather has not been conducive to that. We'll get back in touch with them if this is approved to make sure that we get paving done. Yeah.
Their ambulance thing. Do we have anything? Okay.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Anyone else need to comment? Okay, Denise?
Bruce,
Yes.
Al,
Yes.
Williams. Yes. Watson,
Yes.
Overton,
Yes.
Lawson,
Yes, ma'am.
Flores.
Yes, ma'am.
Harriman.
Yes.
Carries 8-0.
The next item is a conditional use for another tandem lot split at 2556 North 40th Street. They want to build a second structure to the back of this property, and they want to split it off as a tandem lot rather than trying to rezone it. Planning Commission recommends approval of this conditional use again with the plat has to be filed and the access has to be paved all the way from the street to the beginning of the second lot. The title of the resolution reads, "A resolution approving a conditional use at 2556 North 40th Street is set forth in ordinance number 4030.
So I did not go by this one, but looking at looks like the north, is that a driveway or is that a
It's a
street?
driveway part of the way, and I think that's where they extend it further on to the west to come to the second structure. I assume they're going to use the same access point that they have now, and it would just go further on back to the second lot. There's
That-
got to be enough room behind the house to create the
So
necessary.
it'd just be a shared driveway then?
Yeah, it's a shared
So
driveway.
that may be what ends up being paved?
Yes, part of
Okay.
it is already paved. They just have to extend it back onto the creation of the second lot.
Make a motion that we approve this?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further comments or questions? Anyone? Okay, Denise?
Al,
Yes.
Williams. Yes. Watson,
Yes.
Overton,
Yes.
Lawson,
Yes, ma'am.
Flores.
Yes, ma'am.
Harriman.
Yes.
Fujirus.
Yes.
Carries 8-0.
The next item is a waiver request of drainage, curbs, gutters, and sidewalks along, I lost the name of the street. Graham? Graham, okay. I was trying to decide which one it was, Graham. We have a project where they are paving the area that they're parking those trucks on, and they asked for a waiver of street improvements along Graham Street. The Planning Commission recommends that the waiver request be denied. The title of the resolution reads, "A resolution approving a waiver of street improvements, drainage, curbs, gutters, and sidewalks is set forth in ordinance number 3725 to Nets Global Holdings LLC in connection with N2005, a non-large scale," and they are recommending that it be denied, which will be option 2.
Is that part of the old Grove Drive-In?
I believe so.
I think
yeah.
it is.
They have to do some drainage improvements. They have to put a detention pond in. They have to pave the area where they're storing trailers. It's just kind of been expanding over the years, and now we're trying to get it all paved and under control. And Planning Commission recommends denial of the street improvements.
So the improvements is just paving?
They would do curb, gutter, and sidewalk the full length of their street to a local street standard, because that's all it is. It's a local street.
And where's the future Dixieland on this?
Dixieland is further to the west of these properties. Mayor, you'll have to, I don't know that I've seen the final alignment. Does it come straight down the backside of all these properties? Or is it a little bit further on?
It might curve over there and go down the
Yeah.
back of these properties, down to
Yeah.
Wagon Wheel. I'm trying to remember. I don't have it.
I haven't seen
handy.
the final plan, so I don't know
I know that,
exactly where the alignment is.
Dixieland is going to be further west, but it does make a curve toward the east and then down. I'm just not sure if it goes all the way to those properties or not.
And I think it was my understanding that all of the right-of-way was being obtained off of the other properties to the
It is,
west.
yes.
None of these properties, there would actually be any
Right.
right-of-way acquisition
That's
to
true.
those, but they may have access to it, but there wouldn't be right-of-way acquisition off of these.
That's right.
So the,
They used Graham Road.
I don't think right now they have any access off of Graham Road. I don't think they take any trailers in and out at that location.
So it's just off 71.
Doesn't mean that they couldn't, but I don't think they do now. All of their access is on and off of Highway 71.
so again, I don't know if I understood. They just want to pave their access, is that correct?
They want to pave just their parking lot. They don't want to do any of the street improvements. That's what we're asking for, the total street improvements, the length of their property be waived, and they don't have to do any of it.
What did the planning commission recommend?
Planning Commission recommends that that be denied, and they be required to do street improvements. They're half the street, the full length of that.
That'd be option 2.
Yes. Planning Commission's
Including
recommendation.
sidewalks?
Curb, gutter, sidewalks, and storm drainage, yes.
Is there someone here from NETS Global?
I don't see anyone.
They must not care
See
very
their
much.
engineer.
Or on Zoom.
So
I
if
don't
we
see someone on
were to
there.
deny this, then it would have to go back through you guys, and if they want to get a waiver, any other waiver, they'd have to come back
It
to
has
us.
to come back. Waivers can only be granted by city council, because basically what you're saying, if this developer doesn't have to do it, the taxpayers of the city of Springdale pick it up if the street is improved sometime in the future.
Some point in time.
And it's only you guys that can make that waiver. The planning commission can't. They recommend based on what they see needs to happen. This is the full length of Graham Road on the south side, and it's being used, so.
So that building south of it is a construction supply business, and that's a new building.
Yep.
So when they built that new building, they built the sidewalks and they built everything.
Along
according to-
71, they met
Right.
commercial design standards, they
4784.
did screening, they did all, they just
the
didn't have a
south.
street, they didn't have a street on the side, that they had to do street improvements because Highway 71 was already,
Right.
but they did have to put the sidewalk in.
They did put their sidewalk in, and I'm wondering if that's what the decision was for the planning commission for this. But this is not a new building. This is just to pave their entrance. of
It's
the
to
parking
pave
area.
all the area that they store trucks on. And it's been several years it's been on gravel. We've been dealing with this for at least 3 years, trying to get something done with this to deal with the drainage. There's some runoff issues to the property to the south, and there was some discussion about a joint effort with detention. That didn't work out. Sewer was brought across the street, or water was brought across the street, and it's just been an ongoing for the last 3 years trying to get something done with this piece of property.
If we deny their request, will they be required to do anything along 71 business?
No, they would have to do the sidewalk along 71. That's the only other thing that they would have to do, because the street improvements are already there.
But
They've
they
got
would
their,
have to,
they'll
and
have to
they're
do their
asking to
sidewalk
waive
too.
that too?
Yeah, they're asking for not doing any street or sidewalk improvements of any kind.
They just thought we might as well, what do we have to lose? Let's just ask.
But you also said detention.
Well, they have to do the detention. That's part of, once they pave that much area, they've got to come in and do the detention. And we've
they know
already,
that.
we've already worked through all that, and I think
Okay.
we've got something worked out that will work. At one time, we were trying to take it across the property to the south. That hasn't worked out. We couldn't get an easement across there to their detention, so we're going to have 2 detention ponds.
Basically, they just don't want to do the sidewalk.
And
Is
they
that
don't
what
want
it's
to do
coming
the
down to?
street improvements on Grant.
Street improvements, right.
They don't want to do any of that.
I make a motion for option 2.
I second that.
We have a motion and a second for option 2. Make clear what that is.
That's denying the
That's
waiver.
just denying it.
Of course, you know, Overton and I would just say we shouldn't do anything, but
You get the final say, though.
That's exactly right.
You get the final say, though.
Any other comments or questions? Anyone in the audience? Okay, Denise?
Williams,
Yes.
Watson,
yes.
Overton,
Yes.
Lawson,
Yes, ma'am.
Flores,
Yes, ma'am.
Harriman,
Yes.
Fugierus,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Waiver is denied 8-0.
The next request is for waiver of street improvements in connection, and actually, it's just the sidewalk itself, in connection with a single-family home being built at 2675 North 56th Street. Planning Commission recommends approval of this waiver of the sidewalk. The title of the resolution reads, "A resolution approving a waiver of the street improvements, drainage, curbs, gutters, and sidewalks is set forth in ordinance number 3725 to Huey and Betty Couch in connection with 2675 North 56th Street, a single-family dwelling." And as we just talked about, 56th Street is one of those that's, you know, going to be improved over the years, and so we're recommending waiving the requirement for the,
Move the resolution passed.
Second.
that's with option 1, right?
Oh, yes.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further comments or questions? Anyone? All right, Denise?
Watson,
Yes.
Overton,
Yes.
Lawson,
Yes, ma'am.
Flores,
Yes, ma'am.
Harriman,
Yes, ma'am.
Fugierus,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Carries 8-0.
The next one is a similar request for a sidewalk waiver in connection with a single-family home being built at 8246 Wagon Wheel Road. As you can see on this drawing, it's a very narrow access onto Wagon Wheel Road. Planning Commission recommends option 1, granting the waiver on this one. The resolution approving a waiver of street improvements, drainage, curbs, gutters, and sidewalks is set forth in ordinance number 3725 for Scott and Cheryl Scrunton in connection with 8246 Wagon Wheel Road, a single-family dwelling.
Is this on the west wagon wheel?
Yes,
Yes, west of,
west of.
West of the interstate.
Interstate?
Yeah, west of 49.
I move for option 1.
Second.
okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further comments or questions?
Yeah, Mayor, while we're discussing this, what was the future plans of that part of Wagon Wheel and bringing it closer, or as we got closer to the interstate? I think we discussed this about 2 months ago. That Jeff brought it up.
I'm drawing a blank, Kevin, on west of,
It came up on the issue when we were talking about horses in somebody's backyard off of Wagon Wheel, and there was that church on the corner. Either there was going to be some repairs or an expansion of that part of Wagon Wheel, and it was a loose discussion. I was just curious.
we did some drainage work just west of, what is it, it's not Silent Grove Road, it's where the church is.
Yeah.
We did, and heading west, Public Works did a drainage project, but I don't remember any road work we've got planned. I may be missing something. Do you know what we're talking about, Patsy? Or Brad?
It's on the master street plan as a major collector that would need to be widened out.
That's,
It's just not something, a project that's ever come to the top.
yeah.
So, yeah, so where it's even been talked about where it would go, what kind of changes.
They are talking about the road coming up from the ballpark going
Well,
all the
there's
way through there.
there's
That's why-
potential, if the highway department allows it someday, there's potential to maybe connect wagon, or not wagon wheel, 56th, or what will be Gene George if it's improved, to 612, but we don't know if that will ever happen. And it would, I don't know how this would figure into that. It would be east of this. So, any other questions or comments? Okay. Anyone in the audience? Okay, Denise?
Overton,
Yes.
Lawson,
Yes, ma'am.
Flores,
Yes, ma'am.
Harriman,
Yes.
Fugierus.
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Watson.
Yes.
Carries 8-0.
All right, thank you. Now to item 9, Ordinance Committee and Chairman Mike Overton. Mike?
Mayor, we have one ordinance that come before the council with recommendation for approval. It's an ordinance amending Chapter 106 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Springdale, Arkansas, and has to do with our low-impact development design alternatives to our stormwater system. And it would, seen some of these, engineering department's been working with some developers, seen some of these projects, and that makes it easier on everybody and helps with our stormwater drainage.
Okay.
Move the ordinance be adopted.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. Any further questions or comments? Anyone? Okay, Denise?
Lawson, Flores,
Yes, ma'am.
Harriman,
Yes.
Fugierus.
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Watson,
Yes.
Overton.
Yes.
Carries 8-0.
All right, thank you. Item 10 is Finance Committee and Chairman Jeff Watson. Jeff?
We have 3 items from the finance. The first one is 10A, and it's a resolution concerning Dean's Trail. The title to that resolution is a resolution that the City of Springdale to utilize federal funding for the following project, Dean's Trail Phase 3A. And the Finance Committee forwarded that to council with a recommendation for approval.
Would the resolution pass?
Second.
Do we have a resolution and a motion and a second to pass the resolution? Any further questions or comments? This is just to be clear, and Brad, correct me if I'm wrong, but 3A is the section of Dean's Trail from 412 south to Don Tyson, basically. Yeah. Okay. All right, Denise?
Flores,
Yes, ma'am.
Harriman.
Yes.
Fugierus.
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Watson,
Yes.
Overton,
Yes.
Lawson.
Yes, ma'am.
Carries 8-0.
Item 10B has to do with the construction of the regional detention at the Springdale Airport. The title to that resolution is a resolution authorizing the execution of a construction contract at the Springdale Municipal Airport for regional detention. This resolution was also forwarded to council with recommendation for approval.
Move the resolution pass.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve the resolution. Any other comments or questions?
How long before this gets started, do we know?
I don't know how long that will take. Once this is approved, Brad, it'll probably move forward fairly quickly, won't it? I didn't hear you.
Within a
sir.
month?
About a month, maybe? Okay. Any other questions or comments? Okay, Denise?
Harriman,
Yes.
Fugierus.
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Watson,
Yes.
Overton,
Yes.
Lawson,
Yes, ma'am.
Flores.
Yes, ma'am.
Carries 8-0.
Item 10C has to do with execution of a contract for a traffic signal at the intersection of Ford Avenue and Butterfield Coach Road. The title to that resolution is a resolution authorizing the execution of a construction contract for a traffic signal. The resolution was also forwarded to council with a recommendation for approval.
Where does this expenditure come out of? Well, is it budgeted
Is this
or
coming
not
out of the
budgeted?
street bond or out of Public Works, Brad? Okay, it's coming out of, you said it's not in Public Works, so it'll be part of the, it'll be added to the Ford Street Bond project.
Add on
Amount of street
CIP,
bond.
street bond. I move the resolution pass.
Second.
Motion is second. Any further comments or questions?
Fugierus,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Watson,
Yes.
Overton,
Yes.
Lawson,
Yes, ma'am.
Flores,
Yes, ma'am.
Harriman.
Yes.
Carries 8-0.
All right, thank you. Item 11, Police and Fire Committee, Chairman Brian Powell. Brian?
Thank you, Mayor. We met last Monday. Chief Peters came and talked to us about this resolution. I'm going to read the title right quick. A resolution authorizing the change in staffing of the police department. And Chief is going to let our public know what this is all about.
Thank you. I'm requesting a change of staffing in the police department to go back to how we previously, we had an assistant chief and 3 captains. Currently, we've been staffing it with 4 captains. With the recent retirement of one of our captains, we have an opportunity to go back and change this back. It's a minimal cost, and I think it would benefit the efficiency of the police department.
Move the resolution pass.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the resolution. Any other comments or questions from anyone? Okay, Denise?
Powell,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Watson,
Yes.
Overton,
Yes.
Lawson, Flores,
Yes, ma'am.
Harriman.
Yes.
Fugierus.
Yes.
Carries 8-0.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
All right, item 12, and Wyman, do you want me to go ahead and read this? Wyman's here if we have any questions. We're used to these.
It's a resolution approving bill payment for Milestone Construction.
Okay?
I move the resolution pass.
Second.
Okay? we
Does
got a-
this invoice include the bronze plaque naming it Harper Hall?
No, that's extra.
Oh, okay.
I noticed his office was finished, though. I mean, his
His
was the
throne
first
room
one
is
done.
finished. not his office.
All right, any other questions or comments? All right, Denise?
Williams, Watson,
Yes.
Overton,
Yes.
Lawson, Flores,
Yes, ma'am.
Harriman.
Yes.
Fugierus,
Yes.
Powell.
Yes.
Carries 8-0.
All right, thank you. Do we have any comments from council?
I'm going to bring up that building that I mentioned. Did I mention it the last council meeting or maybe 2 meetings ago on 71 Business, just west of the Rainbow Cleaners, close to Brahms? That old building that looks like it's needing,
Blue one?
The old Vire
not
Pool
bright
Hall.
blue, it's not.
Next to it.
Yeah.
The old
it's next-
Vire building, Vire Pool Hall.
Okay.
So when I mentioned it the last time, I was mentioning that there's graffiti, there's still graffiti on every wall.
And it's,
But besides the graffiti, it's just, what's going on with that building?
like a disaster, period, has for
Yeah.
years.
Yeah, it's been bad for years, but Jeff, I'm sorry, I'm not remembering that. But Brad, let's get James on that and also Ron Finley. Is James here?
He's hiding in a corner.
James, let's get the graffiti taken care of, please. And we'll have code enforcement look at it, neighborhood services look at any other thing we can do to help improve that.
Thank you.
Maybe building inspection too.
One question I have, or I have a comment and a question. I was at Murphy Park today, and we had some people we had a big event there. 300 kids got to fish and then eat the fish that they caught. And the people that were hosting it, the Washington County Sheriff's Office, they're very complimentary of our facilities there.
Great.
And our new gazebo and all that. So that was great. Do we know when the volleyball nets are going up out there? Does anybody know about that?
No, that'd be a Chad question, but
Chad question?
Yeah,
I'll ask him
okay.
When it quits raining.
when it quits raining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
I believe I saw where our Springdale High School boys soccer team
Yes,
won the state championship.
that is
So,
correct.
big shout out to our Bulldogs.
Speaking of, I think they're doing a fundraiser for their rings, for their
Right.
championship rings.
Championship rings.
So if we would consider donating.
Okay, thanks. Thanks, guys. Anybody else? City Attorney? Nothing from me.
So move.
We got a motion to adjourn. We're adjourned. Thank you.